Welcome back everyone to another Minecraft farm tutorial. Today I'm going to be building an iron farm in Minecraft Java 1.16. This is an absolutely massively producing iron farm. You will get just tons of iron and bone meal from this. Takes a few villagers, takes a few zombies, but yeah, I would definitely recommend having one of these in your world, or at least a smaller version. While building this, I'll explain how to build it a bit smaller, just in case that's your thing. But yeah, hopefully you enjoy and find this useful. Okay, so to get this started, we are definitely going to need some supplies. In here, I've tried to have all the actual item quantities labeled correctly. Hopefully I did pretty close. So you are not going to need the items I've got over here. That is purely just random stuff I'm using to demonstrate things. But the rest of these items you are definitely going to need in exact quantities. So in addition to the things that are in here in quantities, there's these three items. You need some sort of solid block. Doesn't matter what kind, but it has to be a solid block. I would thoroughly recommend glass of some sort and walls. These are going to all be needed in pretty major quantities in this build. Okay, so to start this off, we are going to start with a few chests. So, as I said, I'm building a smaller version, so feel free to make this bigger or smaller. That over there is my personal recommendation. Okay, but so into the back of these chests, we're going to put hoppers. And on top of the center one, we are going to put a composter, and then we are going to put hoppers into the other two and hoppers on all three of those. So we got that going on. Then up on top of these hoppers, you're going to want to put another row of chests with a hopper going into each of those. Okay, so now that we've got our hoppers and chests looking like this, we're going to need some solid blocks. And again, this can be any type of solid block. You're going to need to come down 3 like that and out 3, so we're kind of making a 2 wide L shape. Okay, then on the middle block of each of those, you're going to want to put a redstone torch so that we can lock that hopper. And then going into the blocks, you are going to need to put a repeater, and then we need a couple more solid blocks to kind of fill that in. Then up on top, we're going to use 4 redstone dust just like that. And we are going to grab our comparators and put them like that. So that will complete all of the redstone for this build. There is no more redstone than that necessary. Okay, so at this point, I would recommend placing a temporary block on top of those 2 hoppers. And then now is when we need our stairs. So we're going to put 2 stairs in like that and then get rid of our temporary blocks. Okay, now that we have our temporary blocks in place, we're going to put a hopper into each of those and a hopper going straight down. And then a hopper into the hopper going straight down and 2 hoppers connected to that. So we now have a nice auto sorting system. Okay, so with our auto sorting system in place, you can 100% wait till the farm is running, but just for the sake of this tutorial, I'm going to do it right now. In this first hopper on the left, we are going to want to put 1 piece of iron in each spot. And on the next hopper over, we are going to put 1 poppy in each spot. That way this will sort those 2 items out, and iron will be dropped into a chest, poppies will be turned into bone meal, and anything that overflows the system or goes through too fast is going to end up in the 3rd chest. Okay, so with our sorting system complete, it is time to move on. So we're going to need another 2 hoppers going up, and hoppers connected into it, and then hoppers connected into those. Okay, and then on the other side, we're just going to creep off the edge and do the same thing so that we have a 3x3 square of hoppers. Okay, now it is time for some glass. So using a block to get a block on the outside, we are just going to come around this with a line of glass. And again, this can be any block you want, but I personally like to be able to see into my creations, so I'm using glass. Okay, and we are going to want to make this 3 high. Now that we have our walls 3 high, it is time to grab some signs. You can use any type of sign here you want. It does not matter, signs don't burn, so easy enough. But we're gonna want signs on this middle row of glass. Okay, so now that we have that done, it is time to grab our handy buckets of lava, of which you are gonna need 2, 1 in each of the opposite corners. But honestly, I'm putting in an extra 2 just because I want it to look a little bit prettier. Okay, now that we've got lava, we have 2 choices here. We can either come up 1 more row with glass and do signs, or my personal recommendation, if you have been to the Nether, is to cover this with fence gates. So put a fence gate on top of each spot of lava, and then we are going to just open those up and grab our glass again. And then with our glass, we're going to want to come around the outside 1 more row of glass. And sorry, I know I'm flying in this tutorial, but I am trying to do it in a way that it would be really easy to do in survival. Okay, so we got that done. Now it is time to grab some of our walls. Okay, so kind of like the glass, we're going to want to come 1 outside and build a wall around this. Okay, there we go. That should be a pretty wall. And just going to add some water, 1 bucket in each of the 4 corners. And that should make all of our water flow to the center, so all iron golems are going to get pushed in there, they are going to burn, and they're going to die, and then all their drops are going to be auto-sorted. You might want to do this part before you add lava. I don't know, I guess up to you. I'm in creative mode, so I didn't, but yeah, I guess you might want to add the lava later. Okay, so on top of the center fence gate, we are going to place a block. And then from this block, we're going to go up another 15, so a total of 16. Okay, so now that I've made it to my height, I'm going to come off 1 more to go over the lava. 1 more, this is going to be the drop-off, and 1 more for the zombie. Okay, so this is where I am going to want my zombie, which means I'm going to want a wall holding this little bugger in. Okay, then now that we have this block, we're going to come 4 off in each direction. So just like that. So now it is time for glass. So what you want to do is on the end of each of these, get a piece of glass and then get rid of the middle one. Come up a little bit more, and this is where we are going to start needing our torches. So after 2 high, put a torch, and then glass on top of the other 2, and on the front side, this is going to come out 1 more spot like that. Okay, then for these side walls, we're going to want to come out another 3. So, just going to finish this one off. Okay, so at this point, it is time to grab some beds. So what we're going to do is, looking out, we're going to put a bed on each one of these exactly like that, so it'll be 2 spaces out and then a bed. Okay, and I'm coming out one more this direction just because of what I want to do, and I'm gonna just put some walls in here. So I'm gonna make sure this wall is 4 wide. Okay, then we put a block of glass down in each of those places, and then a torch on each of those. Okay, so we got one more piece of glass on top of each of those, so we got a little center hole for our zombie and spots for villagers. This should be looking good and exactly what we want. So now it is time to grab a solid block, any kind of solid block you want. And we're gonna draw a line with them on top of this. Okay, so once we have our shape like this, we're gonna come out one more block on the back side and then fill the rest of this in to make a solid platform other than our holes. Okay, so we officially have our happy little platform created. Now at this point, if you're doing this in survival, you might have wanted to do this sooner, but what we're gonna need is some blocks to jump off onto right there. So yeah, come down, leave a 2 high space, and then put a block down there so that you have something to stand on. Now I would recommend it is time to get your zombie and villager in here. You can do it later, but this is personally when I would recommend to do it. Because you got a nice open platform, you can build stairs off in any direction for wherever you need to ship your zombies and villagers in from. Okay, so since I'm doing this in creative mode though, I'm just going to use eggs just to make this simple, and we definitely need a name tag at this point. As soon as you get your zombie in here, you definitely want to give him a name. So I'm going to put my zombie in. You would drop him in here, whether you use a trapdoor or some other means to get him in, just trick him into falling in. Put him in, and we got a little zombie in there. So if it's daytime, make sure you have something covering this so your zombie doesn't burn up. If you had to sneakily get a zombie here somehow, like use cover and drag it out of a cave if you have to, or just wait till nighttime and have one chase you. Personally recommend that, but. Okay, so make sure our zombie is sealed in and named, and he is good to go. Then we are gonna sneakily trick villagers into each of these little holes. And once we have villagers in, it is time to seal those guys off, and we never have to worry about anything down there again. So that makes it time to build a wall. So we're gonna want to come one outside, and other than the front, we're gonna want to come around this entire thing with a wall. Okay, so we are pretty much done with up here, other than it is time for some water buckets. And if you want, you can drop 2 of them, make yourself an infinite water source, and just keep coming down with these. But we need 1 bucket on each of the back blocks so that it flows to the edge, and it will push these golems off. That guy's not getting pushed off only because the wall is not finished, so just to be completely honest, he's doing what he should be doing. Okay, now it is time to come back down to this little platform we made, and we are just going to make a 2 wide platform. The length of this and we're gonna have it drop off there, so I'm just using 2 blocks so that, I'm just gonna use 3 blocks so I can get around. Okay, so when we get to these walls, we are going to want to leave a 2 wide space and then continue on. So one of these sides should be 4 long and the other should be 5, and if you're building them on a really big version of this, just, make sure on every wing you build it's set up on the same side. Okay, so that needs to be a 2 wide platform. Okay, then we need to connect a wall into our glass and bring a wall around. And it needs to be everywhere other than these 2 spots in the middle. So don't put walls there, and then come around to the other side and build a wall as well. This will make all of our golems flow exactly where we want them to. Now we need to get some signs, because again, we got to hold a little bit of water in place. So we're going to use a total of 4 signs, just like that, so that we can take some water and dump it here and dump it over there. But we need to bring this wall all the way around, and you want to bring it out to the exact same place the other one is, other than on this one, do not leave the gap. And there we go, our golems are officially getting pushed off. Okay, so now what we need to do is put a bucket of water here, and then come over to the other side and do the same thing. If you are building multiple wings of this would be the point where you would want to come down here and build yourself a little floor, and then come out, you know, something on this order, put some walls on. And I'm only putting those there just to demonstrate this, but if you put a couple buckets of water, it'll flow, and then you can do some sort of pathway with this to connect to a center point. I normally go about 15 blocks out from the center point, but yeah, that would be how you do it. Okay, so we've got our wall and our little exit system, and this is how you would build it if you were funneling them all together. And so for something like that, this is what you would do. If you want to build this a little bit smaller, you can follow this initial plan and not have done that. And then we would just break those blocks, and we would just dig our way back down. And you don't want to fall in the lava. That was really not the right thing to do. But yeah, just be sure you stop before you get to the lava. Do it a little bit slower, and then, you know, jump off, break your block, and this farm should be officially active. So there, we got golems falling in, they're burning up, and then their drops should be being collected down here. Not sure we've had enough golems go through this yet. So yeah, we have iron piling up there, and we have poppies piling up there. So this should officially work. Okay, and one last thing you can do for style once you get back down to the bottom. And personally, I would always recommend doing this because I personally think style matters, but you know. Okay, so we're gonna want to put solid blocks like that, and then grab a couple stairs and just put them on. And then we can grab some item frames. So this first spot is gonna be iron, the second one is gonna be bone meal, and this last spot is gonna be random miscellaneous stuff. Okay, that should be everything. This farm should function absolutely perfectly for you. I'll let it run for a little bit and come back. But meanwhile, while it's running, I just wanted to show a slightly different build of this. The reason I have the rings on the ground is to stop enemies from spawning there at nighttime and getting stuck and like just collecting enemies. But the only difference is this is the kind of push way I made. So it comes all the way down. Be sure to leave one empty spot before your wall ends, and then push everybody down into the center, and you can do 4 pods of these, and you get so many golems coming through this. It is all the iron you could possibly ever want in a game. I can't imagine a need for a farm that functions any faster. Then down here, again, we have the collection system, and I built a building for it. Again, this is so that, you know, you can actually, you have a little spot down here to hide, and this farm is absolutely silent if you wait down here. And then I stacked up 3 chests, so just hoppers into all 3 chests in a line like that. And we've definitely getting iron and bone meal production. So another way to do the same thing. Okay, so the only change I made to this is I built myself a little safety wall down at the bottom here. But yeah, hopefully you found this useful. Absolutely amazing and functional iron farm. So I've been letting this run for a little bit. And in the first chest, we are officially collecting iron. Second chest, we still have no bone meal yet. It's kind of amazing. I guess it's getting close. The bone meal production is pretty slow, but at least you don't just have a crap load of poppies. And in this last chest, there is a little bit of overflow, so some random stuff will end up there. But yeah, I think that's going to wrap up this tutorial. Hopefully you found it useful. Very functional iron farm that is very easy to expand. So yeah, if you like this and want to see more content like this, or I also do a survival series, definitely be sure to hit those like and subscribe buttons, and hopefully I will see you on another video.